Okay. It is connected. And it is sending. Yay! My finger too big to the little thing here. There. Oi, pessoal!
Oi, pessoal!
Eu tô aqui com a Jamie hoje, que nem prometido, a minha mão. E a
Yeah. Hello!
E eu vou pegar e vou colocar o link na página do evento e aí já venho aqui para falar com vocês. So I'm going to put the link here on the event page and we can start. You see, it shows, let me show you. It shows on my page, on my wall.
Mm-hmm.
So you just click on the link there and it goes to...
Nice.
Alright. So, while I'm doing this here, where is it? Right here. You got, oh, wrong language. Eu vou colocar aqui o link e vocês já podem dar o oizinho de vocês, dar boa noite. It is night over there.
Oh, okay.
Evening. There. All right.
Okay.
Jim, you can start it.
Okay.
Se vocês tiverem dúvida, é só escrever lá no bate-papo que eu respondo, tá bom, gente?
So we're using one of the new stamps from the Bloom collection that's coming out this winter, and her name is Mother, and we're going to be doing a art journal page using her. So to start, we're going to put her on a block. You're going to want to use a block because of the size. You want to make sure you get a good impression when you stamp. We're going to stamp her in a memento. This is a permanent ink pad.
Entendeu, pessoal? Ela vai passar a carimbeira da Memento na bonequinha, que é carimbo novo dela. E ela vai fazer uma página do Art Journal dela. Todo mundo sabe o que é Art Journal, né? Quem não souber, me avisa aí que eu falo.
And I'm just pressing her down on a plain white piece of paper.
That's your watercolor, from your watercolor pad?
Yes, you can use the watercolor pad paper. We're going to be cutting her out in a minute, but while we have the stamp out, we are going to collage some pattern papers onto our white sheet. We're going to use some matte medium.
A Jamie vai fazer uma colagem, entenderam, né? E ela cortou uns pedaços de papel e ela vai usar só gel. That's a gel, right?
Yeah, it's a matte gel medium. You're going to put a layer on your paper first. And it doesn't have to be pretty because we are going to cut these out in a bit. So we're going to lay that down, put some on the back of the paper, and then put some on top of the paper.
Ela tá colocando na parte de baixo e na parte de cima.
Okay. And they can overlap.
Ela tá colocando um pedacinho em cima do outro também.
And you can use scrap pieces of paper. This is a good way to use up those little pieces that you have laying around. A little bit more on top, and then we're going to go ahead and dry this.
Ela vai colocar só mais pouquinho e aí vai secar. Do you need your hook too?
Yeah.
The one that I'm standing on?
All right. All tangled into everything. It shouldn't take too long, yep. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take just the head piece. We're going to take the floral piece that's on the stamp, and we're going to stamp a couple of those onto our collage paper.
Ela vai carimbar só a parte da cabeça dela.
Okay. And I'm going to use a darker. I'm going to use the black coal ink. Actually, no, I'm going to take that back. You know what? We are going to use the black surface because I need a dark. So we're going to be using, this is a surface by Colorbox. It's another permanent ink pad. Any black ink pad will work. We're just going to stamp right around her hair. I'm going to do one down here. Do one on this side. And I'm just making sure I press all the way around the stamp so it gets a good impression. You can see here.
Aperta bastante, pessoal, o carimbo para pegar todos os ladinhos por causa do papel que tá um em cima do outro.
All right. So now you can go ahead and cut these pieces out, and we'll be ready to use them in our art journal. You don't have to get exact on around her headpiece because when we bring in the rest of our art mediums, we can camouflage her in.
A Jamie falou que não precisa estar perfeitinho porque depois ela vai pegar e quando estiver fazendo a parte no journal, que ela vai cobrir pouquinho do lado.
Cut that piece off.
I don't know how you can do that because my eyes are getting so bad I can't see anymore.
See? Now I wear contacts.
Well, me too.
Yeah.
But now I need a prescription.
Close. So we're going to cut these two out as well because we're going to use these actually to overlay onto her piece that we already have. This one you're going to want to be a little bit more careful when you're cutting out, but you can, if you don't want to fussy cut around these tiny little pieces, you can go around those or cut them off. No big deal.
Gente, a Jane tá fazendo essa parte já com um pouquinho mais de cuidado. E o tal do fussy cutting, right? That's how you call it.
Yes, fussy cutting.
I taught that to them.
I don't do well at fussy cutting or stamping, and I use both all the time. Okay.
Então, gente, tava com problema no meu computador, agora já cheguei aqui. Então, vou dar um oizinho aqui pra Cláudia, pra Amélia, pra Nelly, pra Carol. É tipo Smash, só que é o caderno dela. Jamie,
Yeah.
can you show your art journal?
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't getting the check here, now I'm looking everything and going back.
What would they like to see?
How it looks like, because they asked me if it was a Smash. É um cadernão, gente.
It's Dina Wakely. Or no, not Dina Wakely. Diane Reedley's Ranger Ink.
Ah, é um dos cadernos da Ranger. Eu vou colocar pra vocês depois. E aí tem as folhas que são tipo de cardstock, right?
Yeah.
A little heavier, right?
Yeah, it's a little heavier. There's 2 tones of paper. There's a like off-white and then a bright white.
Tem dois tipos de cores, um bem branco e um outro que é mais aquele branco sujinho. Is that the off-white?
Let's see. That would be the white, and then that would be the off-white. Very subtle difference, but there is a difference.
Esse daí é o branco sujinho. Aí, Amélia, não é gesso, é gel. Então, o gel ele serve para colar, ele serve para selar, ele serve para um monte de coisa, gente. Oi, Lívia. A minha voz tá longe, Cláudia, porque eu tô sentada aqui do lado. Eu não tô perto do telefone.
Okay.
Então, a Amélia, ela colou os papeizinhos e depois carimbou em cima. Ela vai fazer uma página no Art Journal dela. Oi, Mari. Oi, Luciana. Elaine, tudo bom? Elaine said hi. Dijana, hi, Jamie.
Hi.
A Luciana também. So, one of the girls there is Luciana. She's a Prima Design team.
Oh, okay.
And she's watching us.
All right, so we have the crown. I had you stamp 2 just so you had 2 to choose from. You could save this one for another project. You can make use the same technique we are here to create a card or tag instead of just in your art journal.
A Jamie falou que ela fez os dois e vai ficar com um, o outro ela vai usar depois. E dá pra fazer uma tag ou então um cartão. Tá certo, gente? Oi, Betinha, boa noite. Elaine, a diferença entre gel e gesso é o seguinte, o gesso ele é preparatório e ele é branco, o gel ele é transparente. They're asking what's the difference between the gel and the gesso.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
I think I'm up to date now.
Catching up to everything. So before we put her down, we're going to color in her face. And what I use for most of my projects are watercolor pencils. Now, I'm using 2 tones of brown. If these are the Art Grip Aqua, I can't say it.
Aquarelle.
And these are by Faber-Castell. The numbers on these are 176 and 187. If you can't find these, any watercolor pencils will work. And then I have like a soft pink color to add some color into her cheeks and her lips here in a second. So
what number is the pink one?
The pink one is 131.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what I do is I start by just outlining her face in the watercolor pencil. And I'm starting with the darker color, which is the 176. And I don't color her face completely in because we want to create dimension.
Is that the darkest?
This is the darkest, yeah.
Então, pessoal, esse daí é o lápis mais escuro. E ela não vai cobrir tudo para poder ter aquele tridimensão. Essa parte da pintura, para mim, é a mais legal.
Okay.
Falei para vocês que ela ia pintar. They asked me what is your medium fluid, and I'm like, she has a lot of watercolor.
Yeah, I do like watercolor. Okay, now that I have the dark brown down, I'll go in with the next color, which is the 187, and I'll just add a little bit here and there, just to give her a variation in color.
And you're going over
the dark brown. Mm-hmm.
Então, pessoal, ela tá usando o mais claro, o marrom mais claro, em cima do marrom mais escuro, tá? And Luciana said that she can't wait to put her hands on your new stamps to start creating.
Thank you.
Oi, Eliana, tudo bom? Boa noite. Pessoal, não se esqueçam que vai ficar a gravação. Quem chegou depois vai ver tudinho, tá bom?
Okay. So with the damp brush, you don't want the brush too wet, so you can dab some of it off on your skin or a paper towel or a towel, just to take the excess water off, and then we're just going to run our watercolor or our brush right along our watercolor pencil, just to blend it out towards the middle of her face. So you can see it's probably a little difficult to see on the camera, but you don't want a lot of color. You can always add more later on if you feel you need more color.
Pois é, Amélia, faz o curso de pintura com a Jamie aqui. Eu traduzo tudo. One of my girls said, like, my top list is have a workshop done for painting.
So you're just going to go around and blend all that pencil out.
Daí ela só tá trazendo pra dentro, gente. Que é assim, dá sempre pra colocar mais tinta, eu sempre falo isso, do que tirar a tinta é mais difícil, né não?
And I'll show you guys a little closer look at the...
Tá vendo que lindo? Lindo! Beautiful!
Okay. So we're going to add a little bit around her nose and her lips now. Just around the outside. Her lips, I'm going to use the pink. Just down the center line of her mouth. And that bottom. Just around the outside of her lips again. And then we're going to... Go ahead.
Daí ela colocou o rosa na parte externa dos lábios. E agora só a água para trazer para dentro um pouquinho.
Okay. And we're just going to add, make sure your paper's dry. And I want to show you something. If you, with the watercolor pencils, if you go over the top of something that's already wet, it'll leave a really harsh mark, and you won't be able, it'll be hard to blend out the watercolor pencils. See how the line is staying there? But if you go on the dry paper, it'll let you blend out the watercolors. So make sure your surface is dry before you add more color.
Entendeu, pessoal? Vamos lá. Então, para colocar mais cor, o papel tem que estar seco, porque senão vai ficar aquela lama toda. Então, põe a mão assim onde você já tinha passado o pincel com água para ver se está seco, para poder colocar mais lápis, tá bom?
So we added a little bit of color to her cheeks, and the color I'm going to use for her eyes are the same brown. I'm taking the 187 for her eyes, and I'm just going to add a little bit of color at the top from the top lid, I'm going to just bring that color down just a little bit. I'll show you there. Okay. And then blend it out just a little. And for the center, we're going to bring in a little bit of black and just draw it in. You don't have to blend it out.
I can't find a translation for blending. It's amazing. Okay, what's the word for that?
All right. Okay. So let's see.
You did put a pink here on the cheeks, right?
Yes, I did. I put a little bit of pink on the cheeks, just enough to kind of give it a warmer tone.
Na bochecha, gente, na maçã do rosto, ela colocou pouquinho do rosinha, tá bom?
Now that we have her colored in, we're going to go ahead and start on our background. I'm just going to do the one page because it's easier to see on camera. And we're going to start by layering some stencils. Here it is. So this is a new stencil coming out as well. It's got a few words on it. We're going to take a couple. Now, keep in mind where you want to keep her face. I'm going to put her right about there. And you want to make sure all of the words, because we're going to use molding paste, which will make it three-dimensional. So make sure that your words kind of stay, or whatever stenciling you do, stays on the outside.
Ok, vamos lá de tradução. A Jamie está falando para vocês decidirem aonde que ela vai ficar, porque como ela vai usar a pasta que é tridimensional, para não colocar as letras aonde ela vai ficar, porque senão não vai dar certo depois de estar colando. Então ela vai começar daqui para fora, não para o lado de dentro onde ela vai ficar, tá bom? Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So I'm just putting the paste down. My stencil's dirty, but that's okay. We're going to paint over the top of it, so you won't even be able to see it. I'm just taking bits and pieces of the stencil.
All right, I have a third hand for you.
Oh, thanks. That comes in handy sometimes.
Right?
Yeah. I should have my daughter do this for me.
That's why we have kids, though.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So I just wanted to give it a little bit of texture on the background.
Ela não fez tudo, gente, só aqui e ali, para ter pouco de textura.
Put that aside. We'll wash that in a minute.
I can do that if you want.
Oh, that's okay. And then we're gonna dry this. We have to make sure it's dry before we add any more mediums on top. Because it's so cold here, it may take a little bit to dry this.
Oh, yeah.
And more rain this week. Almost dry. It's dry enough to paint over at least.
I told them that you have some goodies to the end. And I was like, I'm not sure if we should display it or just give one at once, no?
Yeah. That's up to you. Okay, now we're going to cover the page in gesso, in just white gesso.
Agora ela... The brain was not working. A Jamie vai pegar e passar uma mão inteira do gesso. Elaine, acho que foi você que perguntou a diferença entre o gesso e gel. Então, gesso é preparatório. Agora ela vai preparar a página para que não absorva tanta tinta, o que ela for colocar em cima. E também para poder começar a pintar. Daí ela vai dar uma mão de gesso em tudo. Então, meninas, vocês façam a lista de vocês do que vocês querem, porque já sabem, né, que nem os meninos dos carimbos chegaram sexta-feira e eu só tenho uns 2 ou 3. Então tem que fazer a sua listinha aí. O Modeling Paste eu já tenho na loja, o stencil ainda não. É gesso. Isso.
And then we'll have to dry again.
E a gente vai secar novamente.
A lot of drying with mixed media.
I call this the friend of the impatient.
Yes. And I'm impatient.
Me too.
Almost. Okay.
Good?
Yeah. So now we are going to put her on our page. And we're going to take the gel medium we used earlier and use it to adhere her to our paper.
Então a gente vai... A gente não. A Jamie vai usar o gel para estar colando a boneca na página. We're going to say, we are going to. I'm not doing anything. You're doing.
You're here for support. Good support.
Very generous amount, right?
Yeah, you want to make sure there's a good amount.
Because it dry quite fast with that part of the
Mm-hmm. And you want to make sure it's going to stick all the way. So... Here, I don't think I have enough underneath.
Então, Lívia, substitui. O gel é uma cola também. E eu falei no início, ele serve como cola e como selante também. Então, ela está passando por cima da boneca toda. E ela colocou na parte de baixo e na boneca, para poder ficar bem pregadinho, tá?
So just kind of press down the edges just to make sure they're stuck down really well.
A Jamie falou para apertar em volta, tudinho, para ver se tá tudo pregadinho, tá? Esse é fosco.
And then we have to, or actually we're going to put this one on later. We're going to dry again.
Who doesn't have a need to get one?
Yes. For sure. All right. So now we get to add color to our page.
Yay.
I know, the fun part. So we're going to put this aside. My towel doesn't need to be there. So we are going to add, let's see.
What are those?
These are like a watercolor crayon.
Okay.
They're Neocolors. You could find the gelatos work too.
Okay.
Okay.
They're very fond of gelato.
Oh, let me see if I have any right here. We'll use a couple of our gelatos. Let's see. That's one. Okay. So we're covering up this piece of her headpiece, so I'm going to go right around the edge with our gelato, and you could choose any color scheme that you want. I'm going to start with a dark color, then go to like a medium color. And then a light color.
So here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, I hope I'm not getting you in trouble,
Yes.
the difference between, in composition, this and this? Because this has wax, right?
Yeah, this is more of a wax base where this is not.
Okay.
This one, and I'll show you the difference between the way they work. Let's see. They have more of a watercolor finish to them than these would. These stay more opaque unless you blend them out. Where this will go transparent almost immediately. So let's add a little bit of pink down here. I like too that you're able to get a little more control with these ones than the gelatos, but they both serve their own purpose. So now that I have some color down, I'm going to go ahead and blend these out.
Só pincel com água, gente.
And we'll be adding more color too.
Eu não sei se vocês estão reparando, gente, mas Jamie colocou ponto focal na boneca e aí tá adicionando as cores ao redor dela num degradê, né? Tem que ter medo, Alessandra, não. Medo de quê?
And you can see down here in this corner where I missed with the gesso, and you can see the tones, the difference in tones, how it's soaking into the paper, and how this color is sitting on top of the paper.
Tá bom, ok. Gente, aqui não tinha o gesso.
Yeah, right up here.
E aí vocês conseguem ver a diferença na textura, na apresentação. E até também aqui que ela usou. What is this called?
The watercolor, the Neocolors?
Yes.
Yeah, Neocolor, they're a watercolor crayon.
É giz pastel aquarelável e aqui o gelato. Então a Jamie fala que ela gosta do giz pastel aquarelável porque tem um controle maior no tom, na cor que ela está usando, enquanto que o gelato nem tanto. Alright.
Okay.
You don't use a lot of Copics, do you?
Not often. I have a lot of them, but I don't use them often because it takes time to color them in, you know.
Do they go well with mixed media? Because I really don't use a lot of Copics.
You can definitely mix them over other mediums, like your colored pencils and things like that. You can add the Copics on top to add more of a softer finish.
And they will not blur or anything,
correct? Yeah. Okay, so we have our color down here. Now we're going to add some stencils. Let me dry this real quick.
Here. Your best friend.
Yeah. Or our videos would be hours long. We're going to take one of the chalk edgers. This one is vintage pink. Let's see, what other color could I use on this page? We'll use this dark blue one. So this is another stencil that I have coming out. It's called Spark. It's a little 6x6 stencil.
Esse stencil também é lançamento, viu, gente? É 6x6 ou 15x15, assim. Então, Eliana, giz pastel aquarelável. Deixa eu perguntar para ela. Have you seen pastel? Watercolor pastel.
Watercolor pastels. No, I've used pan pastels.
Uhum. Eliana, nem sei como é que é esse giz pastel aquarelável. Tem certeza que é pastel? Porque pastel tem oleoso e seco. Daí ela tá passando com os edges em volta, usando o stencil dela. E ela só tá dando umas batidinhas, viu, gente? Não pode ficar esfregando, não. Ah, Luciana, manda aí pra eu ver como é que é isso. Que marca que é que você usa?
That's so cool. And the last stencil we're going to add before we add her headpiece is this circle one. And it creates a really cool, like, ray effect behind her head. So we're going to add that too.
This new too, right?
Yes.
Mais stencil novo, pro pessoal que gosta de fazer mix media e journal, stencil tem que ter, não tem jeito, né, não?
And I'm taking some gesso, just white gesso, and I'm dabbing that over the top of the stencil.
A Jamie tá usando o gesso e ela só tá batendo, porque vocês sabem que o gesso também é provado, o solvente é água. Então, se ela ficar esfregando, ela vai tirar muita cor, né? Elaine, manda o link pra eu ver, eu quero ver esse negócio aí, por favor. Faber-Castell in Brazil is huge. It's a big company. I think one of the largest facilities or manufacturers that they have. Factories, actually, would be factories.
Yeah,
down in São Paulo. Yes. Like a to-go kind of a product for everybody.
Well, I definitely like Faber-Castell.
What else?
So now she has her little rays of light coming behind her head, and I'm going to actually accent those a little bit more once it's dry. But while those are drying, we're going to now layer her little headpiece over the top. Oh, people. Always asking. Now this we don't have to put matte medium over the top. We're just going to put it on the back. For this piece, we're just going to put it on the back. We're not going to completely adhere it to the page.
A parte de cima das flores, ela só vai colocar o gel na parte de baixo, não na parte de cima. E depois ela vai dar uns retoques no último stencil que ela usou. So cool.
A little bit more down here.
De nada, Amélia.
And then we'll dry all this together.
Coisa mais linda.
Okay. So with a white paint pen, and I have a few, you can use a lot of different ones. You could use Faber-Castell's pen, and I'll grab that over here. They have a white artist pen, and we can go in and kind of highlight, make those little rays stand out a little bit further.
Gente, esse daqui é a caneta da Faber-Castell, aquela que é a prova d'água. E ela só tá passando por cima só pra dar, ficar mais realçada.
Okay. Let's see. Does this pen work? It's always a hit and miss here. And then you can go ahead and journal wherever you want on your page.
Oh, ela falou obrigada.
Do you want me to show them anything else? Or?
No.
No?
Just,
Okay.
Like on the top. Gente, tá prontinho. Olha só. Acabei de escrever. Very cool, gente.
Oh, good, good.
Joia. Very cool.
Thank you.
So let's see if they have any questions for you.
Yeah.
And then we can wrap it up. Viu, pessoal? A professora aqui, ela é boa de tempo. Não é que nem eu que me perco. Não tem, Amélia. Acho que não. They don't have this in Brazil.
Oh, okay. Do they have Sharpies? The white part?
Not so much.
Okay.
Sabe a caneta, a prova permanente da Sharp? Ela pode ser também. Do they have white?
Yes, they do. They have these.
Ó, ela tá mostrando a Sharp, gente. Aqui, Luciana has a question for you. Tá de brincadeira. She asked if she can inspire to teach the classes there.
I'd love to, yeah.
Claro, Lu, claro. Ei, Luciana, que tal levar a Jamie para ir pro Brasil? Can we take you to?
Oh, I'd love to.
Pois então, Alessandra, tem que usar. She's a good asset there.
Yeah.
She's in São Paulo, so she knows everything. Pois é, tem que ver só a data. Então, né? Então, gente, olha só. Se vocês não tiverem... Ah, Elaine, então, quer ir também? Novembro. She said November 2015. She has the date. She asked me to sign the contract. A Jamie é mais fácil, que ela tá pertinho de mim. A Ana é mais difícil. Aquela escapa, essa aqui não escapa, não. Então, gente, olha só. Alguma pergunta a mais? Enquanto ela tá aqui. Tá bom. She doesn't want to let you go. She wants you to... Oh, yeah. Aqui, gente, ó. Essa caneta é aquela que eu uso, não da mesma marca. Você tem que balançar pra ela, pra ativar a tinta.
I'll show you too. It has a really fine tip to it. So it's, you could use it on a lot of different.
Tá vendo a ponta dela como é fininha? Dá pra fazer bastante detalhe. E é permanente. And waterproof, right?
Yes. Yep.
Bacana. Elaine said, congratulations, beautiful work.
Thank you.
Claudia said, love it. Tá bom, meninas. Então a gente já vai. Eu nem sei o que é isso, Elaine. Vocês vão me mandar depois o link do negócio aí, do giz, tá bom? Tá. Do you know Polska pen?
Yeah, they aren't really big here in the U.S.
Where are they from? Sounds like German.
They are European. Mm-hmm.
Aqui não vem muito delas não, Elaine, é por isso que eu não sei. Mas a Jamie conhece, ela ouviu falar. São os europeus lá. Tá bom, gente, um beijo. Beijo pra todo mundo. Não! Ei, let's do the draw.
Oh, okay.
Ei, olha aqui, gente, o que eu trouxe, ó. Vocês vão dar risada. Ó, aqui, ó. A cuia. A cuia veio. They laugh at me because this is from my place of birth.
Mm-hmm.
It's called kuya. I don't know how to translate it, but it is painted with crackling, you see?
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately. Maybe I'll put some gel. But we drink very much in indigenous. So we have a food that we... Or stick of fingers. I'll take you to Belém. To my place of birth. Tá bom, então vamos lá. Vamos fazer aqui os nomezinhos. Pra ver quem é que tá presente aí. Não vai, Eliana, não. Porque agora que a gente vai fazer o sorteio. Peraí, só um instantinho. Olha, a Cláudia já falou. Carolina, tu ainda tá aí, Carol? Alessandra. Pois então. Luciana, é a primeira vez que tu... A Nelinda tá aí? Eu não vi a nona hoje. Tô de aluna. Fabito, ainda tá aí? Vou ter que fazer um pra Luciana. Audi. Mari, peraí só, mulher. Vocês estão fazendo muito rápido. I asked them to say their name like, me, like you're too fast. Eu ainda não vi a Carol. I have someone in English here. The person that wrote a nice drawing, please, can you say your name so you can come to the drawing too? Gente, tem muito nome aqui. Então, quem falou eu? Em cima da Elaine. Vocês vão me deixar doidinha aqui. Aqui, ó, Elaine. Can you put it there? So they can see their name, because they're driving me nuts here. We started doing this old style and just... That's how we do.
Yeah.
Really?
It works.
Aqui, Betinha. Tá aqui, Betinha. Te achei, mulher. Mari, tá aí o teu sobrenome. Amélia. Pronto, só falta da Luciana.
This probably doesn't work.
Vocês não
We're at a desk full of stuff. And then
exactly. Tem um arsenal de material aqui e eu não acho uma caneta. Okay, I'm going to recycle here. Luciana. Tá, faltou mais alguém? Lívia? Oh. Não, como é que é? A Lívia não tá aqui. Ai, deixa eu ver aqui mais uma vez. Oh, why don't you show what you're giving away?
Okay.
Aqui, ela vai mostrar. Is this it?
Yeah.
Ela vai mostrar o que ela vai dar pra vocês. Ó, a Jamie, ela é mais generosa do que eu. You're more generous than me.
Well, special today. So you'll get one of the new mother stamps. You'll get a new stencil. This is a hibiscus stencil. And then you'll have a package of Prima flowers as well as a set of the glass beads by Prima as well.
Entenderam? O que vocês vão ganhar? Falta a Lívia só. I'm missing one more. Lívia, não sei porquê, mas acho que teu nome não tava aqui nunca. Nunca! Ah! Someone said, suggested for you to divide the split in two. Então, vocês querem... Aqui, Lívia, é o teu nome, ó. Vocês querem que divida o sorteio em 2 ou não? Vamos lá, dou-lhe uma, dou-lhe duas. Fabiana, tá assim, minha flor. Bem aqui, ó. Tcharam. Tá, eu vou falar o nome e vou colocar na cuia. Fabiana, a Cláudia, a Mari, a Carol Luíse. Se não falar oi, não vou. A Nelly, a Lívia, a Luciana, professora, a Amélia, a Audi, a Elaine, tá faltando a Eliana, a Alessandra. Vocês estão escrevendo, eu não tô vendo nada. A Betinha. Deixa eu ver se a Carol Luiz ainda tá aí. É porque eu me levantei e fui falar. Pois é, Eliana. Então, eu sei disso. Sorry. Eliana, já coloquei aqui o seu nome, minha flor. Olha só. Tcharam. Yeah. Yeah, but I needed to know your name. There's someone else that I don't know who it is. Humberto. Okie dokie. Where are you, Humberto? Yes, where are you from?
Where are you from?
Senegal. That's so cool. What language do you speak in Senegal besides English? Here, Humberto. I'm sorry, I don't know that language. Alright. Jane is going to get one.
Okay.
Go on. And open right there. Now you need to say Betinha.
Betinha?
Good job. Betinha. Sua sortuda. Parabéns. Eu mando pra você. Tem uma caixa saindo. Meninas, meninos, muito obrigada. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Beijo,
thank you.
beijo, beijo. Tchau, tchau, tchau.